The silence. The vast chamber of the Galactic Union hummed with tension as Ambassador Kira Voss stepped forward to address the assembled delegates. Her silver skin caught the artificial light, creating patterns that shifted with her emotional state. As a Nexari, she had lived through 3 centuries of galactic politics, but nothing had prepared her for the mystery that now demanded their attention. Honored members of the Union, she began, her melodic voice carrying across the circular amphitheater. We face an unprecedented situation. The Sol system has been silent for 50 standard years. A ripple of murmurs swept through the crowd. Representatives from dozens of species filled the tiered seating, each delegation marked by their unique biological adaptations. The towering Vorlak with their crystalline exoskeletons dominated one section, while the graceful Aldani floated in their specialized atmosphere pods on the opposite side. High Chancellor Zephyr, leader of the Vorlak Empire and current head of the Union, raised one of his forearms. His voice resonated through the chamber like grinding stone. Ambassador Voss, the humans were declared extinct 5 decades ago. Their world was consumed by their own stellar engineering experiment. Why do we waste time on the dead? Kira's skin patterns shifted to deep blue, indicating serious concern. Because, High Chancellor, our long-range sensors have detected energy signatures from the Sol system. Artificial ones. Someone or something is active in that supposedly dead region of space. The chamber erupted in discussion. The Zenithi delegation buzzed anxiously among themselves, their insectoid forms clicking and chirping in their rapid language. Dr. Thessarian, the renowned Aldani scientist, spoke from her floating pod. Perhaps it is automated systems still, functioning after all these years. The humans were known for their robust technology. That's what we assumed, Kira replied, her patterns now shifting to orange streaks of uncertainty. But the signals have been growing stronger, more complex. And 3 months ago, our deep space monitoring station at Kepler 442 detected something impossible. She activated the central hologram, and the chamber filled with swirling data patterns. A massive energy surge from the direction of Earth. Not random background radiation, not stellar activity. This was controlled, purposeful, and unlike anything in our databases. Chancellor Zephyr leaned forward, his crystalline form catching and refracting the holographic light. You believe the humans survived? I believe we need to investigate, Kira said firmly. The Sol system was quarantined after the incident. No one has been there for 50 years. We have no idea what we might find. The debate continued for hours. Some species argued it was a waste of resources to investigate a dead system. Others worried about what dangers might lurk in the cosmic graveyard that was once humanity's home. But eventually, the vote was passed. A small investigation fleet would journey to the Sol system. 3 weeks later, the UGS Harmony dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. The exploration vessel carried representatives from 5 major species, with Ambassador Kira Voss leading the mission. Captain Thorak, a seasoned Vorlak military officer, commanded the ship's crew. Initial scans show massive debris fields throughout the system, reported Lieutenant Zara, the Zenithi sensor operator. Her compound eyes reflected the readout displays as data flowed across multiple screens. Confirming previous reports, the 3rd planet appears to be gone. Where Earth should have been, there was only an expanding field of asteroids and cosmic dust. The moon still orbited the empty space, but it too appeared changed, its surface scarred by some tremendous force. Take us closer to the debris field, Kira ordered. I want detailed scans of everything. As the Harmony moved deeper into the system, the true scope of the destruction became apparent. Mars was cracked like an egg, its atmosphere stripped away. The asteroid belt had been scattered, creating navigation hazards throughout the inner system. It looked exactly like the aftermath of a catastrophic stellar engineering failure. But then the sensors detected something unexpected. Ambassador, Lieutenant Zara called out, her voice tight with confusion. I'm reading artificial structures, multiple ones. They appear to be hidden behind Jupiter's electromagnetic field. The main view screen shifted to show Jupiter in all its massive glory, but as the sensors penetrated deeper, ghostly outlines appeared. Massive constructions, each one the size of a small moon, orbited the gas giant in perfect formation. "By the seven suns," Captain Thorak rumbled. "Those are space habitats. Enormous ones. But who built them?" Kira whispered. "And when?" Their answer came in the form of a transmission that cut through all their communication systems. A human voice, clear and strong, spoke in perfect galactic standard. "UGS Harmony, this is, Commander Sarah Chen of Terra Station. You are entering restricted space. Please state your intentions." The bridge fell silent. After 50 years, humanity was speaking to the galaxy once again. Kira found her voice first. "Commander Chen, this is Ambassador Kira Voss of the Galactic Union. We thought your species was extinct." A pause, then a sound that might have been laughter. "Extinct? No, Ambassador. We've been busy." Within hours, the Harmony was surrounded by ships. Not primitive human vessels, but sleek craft that moved with impossible grace and speed. Their design was unlike anything in the galactic databases, incorporating technologies that seemed decades ahead of known science. Commander Sarah Chen appeared on their view screen, and Kira was struck by how different she looked from the humans in their historical records. Taller, with subtle adaptations that spoke of genetic enhancement, her eyes held an intelligence that seemed almost alien in its depth. 50 years ago, Sarah began, the Galactic Union declared humanity too primitive to join their ranks. They said we were too aggressive, too unpredictable. They were right about one thing: we were unpredictable. She gestured behind her, where vast windows showed the interior of what could only be described as a mobile world. Millions of humans moved through gleaming corridors and vast parks that defied the limitations of space travel. When Earth faced destruction from our stellar engineering project, we had a choice. We could ask the galaxy for help and be turned away as we had been before, or we could save ourselves. Captain Thorak leaned forward. But the energy readings, the explosion, we detected Earth's destruction across half the galaxy. Sarah's smile was enigmatic. The explosion was real, Captain, but destruction and transformation are sometimes the same thing. We didn't lose Earth. We freed it from the limitations of a single world. The revelation hit the investigation team like a physical blow. Dr. Thessarian spoke from her floating pod, her musical voice filled with awe. "You converted your entire planet into energy, then used that energy to build this? This is just one station," Sarah replied. "We have hundreds scattered throughout the outer system, each one home to millions of humans. We've been growing, learning, advancing, while the galaxy thought us dead." Lieutenant Zara's sensors were working frantically, trying to count the artificial structures hidden throughout the system. "The numbers don't make sense," she reported to Kira in a whisper. "If each of those stations holds the population she claims, there would be more humans alive now than when Earth existed." Kira felt a chill run through her body. "Commander Chen, what are your intentions toward the Galactic Union?" "For 50 years we've watched the galaxy from the shadows. We've seen the conflicts, the stagnation, the endless debates while real problems go unsolved. The Union has been at peace because it lacks the will to truly grow or change." Sarah's image shifted, showing vast manufacturing complexes and research stations that dwarfed anything the Union had ever constructed. "We've solved problems the galaxy considers impossible. Energy scarcity, food distribution, even the fundamental limitations of biological life. We've transcended what we were. But we've also been patient. We waited, learned, and prepared. Now, Ambassador Voss, you and your team have a choice to make." The view screen showed Earth's former location, but now something new was visible. A sphere of pure energy, controlled and contained, pulsed where the planet once stood. It was beautiful and terrifying, a star reduced to a tool. "You can return to the Union and report that the Sol system remains dead and empty. Continue to believe that humanity vanished into cosmic dust 50 years ago, or..." Sarah paused, letting the weight of possibility settle over them. "You can witness what we've truly become. But I warn you, Ambassador, once you see the truth, there will be no going back. The galaxy will never look the same to you again." Kira looked around at her team. Captain Thorax's crystalline form was reflecting the energy patterns from the transformed Earth, creating patterns of light that seemed almost hypnotic. Dr. Thessarian floated silently in her pod, her bioluminescent patches flickering with rapid thought. Lieutenant Zara's compound eyes were fixed on the sensor readouts, still trying to process the impossible numbers. They had come to investigate silence. Instead, they had discovered that humanity's greatest weapon was the galaxy's assumption of their death. For 50 years, while the Union debated and stagnated, humans had been transforming themselves into something unprecedented. Kira made her decision. "Show us," she said simply. Sarah Chen's smile revealed teeth that were slightly too sharp, eyes that were slightly too bright. The next phase of human evolution had been guided by intelligence, not chance. "Welcome," she said, "to the real future of this galaxy." As the Harmony was guided toward the hidden megastructures of human civilization, none of the alien investigators could imagine the scope of what they were about to discover. Humanity had not merely survived their world's destruction. They had used it as the foundation for something that would reshape the balance of power across the stars. The silence was about to end, and when it did, the galaxy would never be the same. The Awakening Terra Station was a marvel that defied everything the Galactic Union thought they knew about engineering and physics. As the Harmony docked with the massive structure, Ambassador Kira Voss pressed her face to the viewport, her silver skin patterns shifting rapidly between awe and concern. The station stretched beyond the horizon, its surface a seamless blend of organic curves and geometric precision. Gardens bloomed in zero gravity, their plants somehow thriving in conditions that should have been impossible. Cities rose in spirals that followed mathematical principles no known species had discovered. "The artificial gravity is perfect," Dr. Thessarian observed from her floating pod, her scientific instruments working overtime. "No fluctuations, no dead zones. They've solved gravitational control completely." Commander Sarah Chen met them at the airlock, accompanied by two other humans who introduced themselves as Dr. Marcus Webb and Captain Elena Rodriguez. All three showed the same subtle enhancements Kira had noticed earlier. They moved with a fluidity that suggested their bodies had been optimized for space living. "Before we begin the tour," Sarah said, leading them through corridors that pulsed with soft living light, "I want you to understand what you're really seeing here. This isn't just advanced technology. This is the result of 50 years of unrestricted human development." They passed through vast chambers where humans worked alongside machines that seemed to anticipate their needs. Children played in anti-gravity parks, laughing as they soared through three-dimensional mazes that would have been impossible on any planetary surface. Captain Thorax's crystalline form caught the ambient light, creating rainbow patterns on the walls. "Your population," he rumbled. "Our sensors indicate numbers that seem impossible." Dr. Marcus Webb, a man whose eyes held depths that suggested he had lived far longer than his apparent age, smiled. "When you remove the limitations of planetary resources, Captain, population becomes a choice rather than a constraint. We currently host approximately 2 billion humans across our various installations." Lieutenant Zara's compound eyes widened. 2 billion? But Earth's population at the time of the incident was only 4 billion, Elena Rodriguez finished. "We saved everyone, Lieutenant, and then we kept growing." They entered a vast observation deck where the transformed heart of the solar system was visible in all its controlled glory. Where Earth once spun was now a sphere of pure, harnessed stellar energy. It pulsed with rhythms that seemed almost organic, feeding power to the hundreds of installations throughout the system. "We call it Terra Nova," Sarah explained. "Not a planet, but something far more useful. A controlled star that provides unlimited clean energy. The matter that was once Earth's mass powers our entire civilization." Kira found her voice, though it trembled slightly. "The energy requirements to accomplish this, the precision needed to convert an entire planet without destroying the solar system, would be impossible for any known technology," Marcus agreed. "Which is why we developed unknown technology. 50 years of focused research, Ambassador. 50 years of every human mind working toward the same goal, survival and advancement. Dr. Thessarian's pod drifted closer to the massive viewport. Your species has achieved technological singularity. You've transcended the physical limitations that bind the rest of us. Not transcended, Elena corrected gently. Adapted. We're still human, Doctor. We've just become the best possible version of humanity. As they toured deeper into Terra Station, the scope of human achievement became overwhelming. They saw manufacturing facilities that could construct spacecraft in minutes, using programmable matter, medical centers where human lifespans had been extended indefinitely through controlled cellular regeneration, research laboratories where scientists worked on projects that would have been considered fantasy by galactic standards. The Galactic Union has been stagnant for centuries, Sarah observed as they walked through a vast library where knowledge from across the galaxy was stored and analyzed. Each species locked into their evolutionary patterns, their cultural limitations. But humans, we're the most adaptable species that ever evolved. She gestured to screens showing human settlements in the most hostile environments imaginable. We're thriving in the radiation fields around pulsars. We've built cities in the hearts of gas giants. We've even established research stations in parallel dimensions. Captain Thorax stopped walking, his crystalline form reflecting the ambient light in sharp, agitated patterns. Parallel dimensions? That's theoretical physics that we've never achieved? Marcus finished. The Union has been debating dimensional theory for millennia. We've been exploring alternate realities for 30 years. They reached the central command center of Terra Station, and Kira gasped. The room was alive with data streams from across the galaxy. Real-time intelligence from every major world, every important trade route, every significant political development. You've been watching us, she whispered. We've been learning from you, Sarah corrected. Every species in the Union has contributed to our advancement, though you never knew it. We've studied your technologies, your philosophies, your mistakes. We've taken the best of everything and discarded the limitations. Lieutenant Zara's sensors were practically vibrating with the amount of information surrounding them. The processing power required for this level of data analysis is provided by Terra Nova, Elena explained. A controlled star makes an excellent computer core. We can process information at quantum speeds across multiple dimensional layers simultaneously. High Chancellor Zephyr's voice crackled through the Harmony's communication system. Ambassador Voss, report. What is your status? Kira looked at Sarah, who nodded. Go ahead, Ambassador, but remember, once you share what you've learned, everything changes. Kira activated her communicator. High Chancellor, I am reporting from Terra Station in the Sol system. Humanity is not extinct. They have achieved technological advancement beyond our current understanding. A pause. Then Zephyr's voice, tight with disbelief. Explain. They have converted their homeworld into a controlled stellar energy source. They have built a civilization that spans their entire solar system. Their population has grown to 2 billion individuals, and their technology appears to be decades ahead of Union standards. The silence that followed was deafening. Dr. Marcus Webb stepped forward. High Chancellor, this is Dr. Marcus Webb, Chief Scientist of the Terra Nova Project. I believe it's time for a proper introduction between our species. Zephyr's voice, when it came, was carefully controlled. Dr. Webb, the Galactic Union was informed that humanity's stellar engineering project was a catastrophic failure. It was meant to appear that way, Marcus replied calmly. We needed time to develop without interference. The galaxy has a tendency to suppress species that advance too quickly. And now? Zephyr asked. Sarah Chen stepped into the communication field. Now, High Chancellor, we're ready to rejoin galactic society, but not as the primitive species that was rejected 50 years ago. The main screen activated, showing the bridge of a vessel that made the Harmony look like an antique. Hundreds of similar ships were visible through the viewports, their sleek forms cutting through space with impossible grace. We are Commander Sarah Chen of the United Human Fleet. We represent a civilization that has mastered energy manipulation, dimensional physics, biological optimization, and quantum information processing. We offer our knowledge and capabilities to the Galactic Union. Captain Thorax's form had gone completely still. his crystalline structure reflecting the light in patterns that indicated deep concern. "What do you want in return?" "Partnership," Elena Rodriguez said simply. "The galaxy faces challenges that cannot be solved by committee or by species working in isolation. Climate disasters, resource depletion, energy crises, dimensional instabilities, we have solutions." Dr. Thessarian's bioluminescent patches were flickering rapidly. "You're offering to solve problems that have plagued the galaxy for millennia?" "We're offering to work together to solve them," Marcus corrected. "Humanity learned something important during our 50 years of isolation. Every species has something valuable to contribute, but only by combining our strengths can we reach our true potential." The communication channel filled with voices as the news spread through the Galactic Union. Fear, excitement, disbelief, and hope mingled in a cacophony of alien languages. Kira found herself staring at Terra Nova, the transformed heart of human civilization. "Why reveal yourselves now? You could have remained hidden indefinitely." Sarah's expression grew serious. "Because the galaxy is facing a crisis it doesn't yet understand. Our deep space sensors have detected something approaching from outside our local cluster, something that will require all of our combined abilities to face." She activated a holographic display showing the edge of the galaxy. Points of darkness were visible, moving with purpose toward inhabited systems. "We call them the Void Seekers. They consume stellar energy and dimensional stability. They've already consumed 7 galaxies in distant clusters. They will reach us within 50 standard years." The alien representatives fell silent, the magnitude of the threat overwhelming their ability to process. "The Galactic Union, as it currently exists, cannot face this threat," Elena said quietly, "but a truly united galaxy, with humanity's advances combined with each species' unique capabilities, might have a chance." High Chancellor Zephyr's voice came through the communicator, heavy with the weight of decision. "Commander Chen, the Galactic Union will need time to process this information." "Time is something we may not have much of, High Chancellor," Sarah replied. "But we understand. We've waited 50 years. We can wait a little longer." As the Harmony prepared to depart Terra Station, Kira took one last look at the transformed solar system. Humanity had used their apparent death as a cocoon, emerging as something unprecedented in galactic history. "Ambassador," Sarah said, approaching as the alien delegation prepared to leave. "When you report back to the Union, remember this. We're not conquerors. We're not trying to dominate anyone. We're the same species that reached out to the stars 50 years ago, hoping to find friends among the galaxies. We've just become capable of being the friends the galaxy needs." The Harmony departed Sol System carrying news that would reshape galactic civilization. Behind them, Terra Nova pulsed with the heartbeat of 2 billion human minds, all focused on preparing for the challenges ahead. The silence was broken. Humanity had returned to the galactic stage, not as the primitive species that had been rejected, but as the advanced civilization the galaxy needed to survive. The age of human isolation was over. The age of true galactic unity was about to begin.